all the students of class 9 to today's English class. Students, you know that we are learning a very important and interesting topic of English grammar, tenses. Today we are going to finish the lesson which has 3 parts. In the previous 2 parts we learned forms of tenses, the structure of different types of sentences in the present, the past and the future indefinite tense. The present, the past and the future continuous tense. The present, the past and the future perfect tense. And the uses of all these tenses. Objectives of today's lesson are to tell you the structure of different types of sentences in the present perfect continuous, the past perfect continuous and the future perfect continuous tense, to tell you their uses, and also to study the uses of non-continuous verbs, the present perfect and the simple past tense, the simple past and the past perfect tense, the past continuous and the simple past tense, and also how to use going to and about to tell a future action. The first tense that we are going to study today is present perfect continuous tense. Sentence structure for affirmative sentence is subject plus has or have plus been plus ing form of the verb. They have been teaching here for 5 years. I have been flying a kite for 1 hour. She has been playing since 10 a.m. The baby has been crying since evening. I hope you remember the use of since and for to tell time and duration. We have used for to tell the time period or duration and since to tell the time of beginning of the action. The rule to write a negative sentence in the present perfect continuous tense is subject plus has or have plus not plus been plus ving. That means ing form of the verb. Not is placed between has or have and been. They have not been talking for 2 days. You have not been beating your child for 2 weeks. She has not been watering the plants. These are the examples. I hope you understand the use of have and has. To write interrogative sentence, there are 3 different rules for writing single interrogative sentence, for double interrogative sentence and for negative interrogative sentence. For single interrogative sentence, we have the rule has or have. It begins with a helping verb. Has or have plus subject plus been plus ing form of the verb. Example is, have you been swimming? For double interrogative sentence, we have the rule WH word plus has or have plus subject plus been plus ing form of the verb. Example is, where have they been hiding for 2 days? For negative interrogative sentence, the rule is WH word plus has or have plus subject plus not plus been plus ing form of the verb. Example is, why has he not been staying here? Uses of the present perfect continuous tense. For an action which began at some time in the past and is still continuing. I have been watching you for the last 10 minutes. Now students, let us explain the example. This action of watching began here at this point of time in the past. And since then, it continues till the present moment and is still continuing here. So the action began at some time in the past and is still continuing. Okay? And this duration is of 10 minutes. That is why we have written for the last 10 minutes, because this is the duration that is being told here. And I told you that to tell duration we use for. So the sentence is, I have been watching you for the last 10 minutes. Or He has been playing since 4 p.m. In this case, this is 4 p.m., which is in the past. And the action of playing begins here and continues to this point, which is the present, and is still continuing. So the sentence is, he has been playing since 4 p.m. Why since is used? Because we are telling the point of beginning. Okay. Now past perfect continuous tense. The sentence structure for affirmative sentences: subject plus had plus been plus ing form of the verb. Had is used with all the subjects. I had been flying a kite for 1 hour. They had been teaching here for 5 years. The baby had been crying since evening. She had been playing since 10 a.m. For negative sentence, the rule is subject plus had plus not plus been plus ing form of the verb. Not is placed between had and been. They had not been beating their child for 2 weeks. We had not been talking for 2 days. She had not been watering the plants. For interrogative sentence, the rule is, for single interrogative specifically, had plus subject plus been plus ing form of the verb. Example is, had you been swimming? For double interrogative sentence, the rule is WH word plus had plus subject plus been plus ing form of the verb. And the example is, where had they been hiding for 2 days? For negative interrogative, we have the rule WH word plus had plus subject plus not plus been plus ing form of the verb. And the example is, why had he not been staying here? And I told you that this negative interrogative can be written even without WH word. So the sentence can be, had he not been staying here? Uses of the past perfect continuous tense. To tell about an action which began before a point in the past and continued till that time. Like, this is past. Here is an action which began at some point of time before this point in the past. This point of time in the past. And the action began before this point of time in the past, and it continued till that point in the past which we are referring to and was still continuing at that time. To tell about an action which began before a certain point in the past. This is the certain point in the past and the action began before it and was still continuing. I had been attending my classes for 5 years. He had been shouting for 5 minutes. Now future perfect continuous tense. Sentence structure is, for affirmative sentence, subject plus will or shall plus have plus been plus ing form of the verb. The baby will have been crying for 10 minutes. They will have been teaching here for 5 years. I shall have been flying a kite for 2 hours. I hope students you remember that we use shall with the first person subject, and for all the other subjects we use will. For negative sentence, the rule is subject plus will or shall plus not plus have plus been plus ing form of the verb. We will not have been talking for 2 weeks. You will not have been beating your child for 2 days. She will not have been waiting for me. For interrogative sentence in the future perfect continuous tense, the rule is, for single interrogative, will or shall plus subject plus have plus been plus ing form of the verb. Will you have been swimming for 2 hours? For double interrogative sentence, the rule is WH word plus will or shall plus subject plus have plus been plus ing form of the verb. Example is, where will they have been hiding for 2 days? Negative interrogative, WH word plus will or shall plus subject plus not plus have plus been plus ing form of the verb. Example is, why shall we not have been staying there? Now, uses of the future perfect continuous tense. To tell about actions which will continue over a period of time that will end in the future. Now the condition is that the action will end in the future. Okay, it will end in the future, but the point of beginning can be in future, in the present, or in the past. This is the end point, which is certainly in future. This point is certainly in future because this is the end of the action. This is the end point of the action. But the beginning can be in the future, in the present, or in the past. And the action continues over a period till the point of reference in the future. Here also, the action begins in the present and continues till that point in the future. And the action begins at some point in the future and continues till that point in the future. Examples are, my mother will have been taking care of this puppy for 2 months. You will have been working here for 5 months. Choose the correct form of verb or helping verb from those given in the brackets. You dash just dash your work. Your options are have, did, has done, or have done. You have to choose the correct pair of the helping verb and the main verb. Second sentence is, my friend dash my book by next week. Your options are shall have returned, will have returned, or has returned. You have to choose the correct option out of these three and note it down in your notebook. We will check your answers later on. Third is, dash I dash calling you since yesterday. And your options are has been, have been, shall have been. Fourth is, you dash not dash here in 2005. Your options are shall work, were working, or are working. I hope you have written your answers. Let us check the answers now. Now let us check the answers. You dash just dash your work. The right answer is have done. You takes have with it. And then it is followed by the third form of the verb. Have just done. This just denotes that the action has been completed in recent past. So, present perfect tense is to be used. You have just done your work. Why not have did? Because did is second form, not the third form. Has done, this is also wrong because you does not take has with it. It takes have. Second sentence, my friend dash my book by next week. Shall have returned, will have returned, or has returned. Will have returned is the right option. My friend is a third person singular subject. It takes will with it. Have returned. Will have returned. By next week. This is future time reference. So, we have to use future perfect tense. Third, dash I dash calling you since yesterday. Have I been calling you since yesterday? Since yesterday, this is telling the point of beginning. And I have been calling you since then. So we have used the present perfect tense. You dash not dash here in 2005. 2005 is the past time reference. So we use past tense. Were working. You were not working here in 2005. Not present, not future. Now students, let us study the uses of non-continuous verbs. the present perfect and the simple past tense, the simple past and the past perfect tense, the simple past and the past continuous tense, and also the use of going to and about to tell a future action. Now students, non-continuous verbs are the verbs which we normally do not use in the continuous form. These verbs are about a state or having and not about an action. We don't use continuous form because these are about the state of a thing or a person or about having, not about an action. So the continuous form is not used. For senses, whatever we feel through our senses like hear, see, feel, taste, smell. We don't say I am seeing a cloud. We say I see a cloud. Even when we are able to see it right at this moment, we don't say I am seeing the cloud. We say I see the cloud. Appearing. How a thing appears or seems to us. Appear, look, seen. This is a state. So again, we don't use the continuous form of these verbs. For emotions like want, love, hate, like, hope, we don't say I'm loving you. Think, believe, agree, trust. These are thinking verbs. We don't use continuous forms of these verbs also. Have or possess. To have something means to possess something. Have is used in two senses. That means one is to possess and other is to take or eat. Own, possess and have. These verbs also do not have continuous form. Some of the non-continuous verbs having dual meanings. Dual meanings means having two meanings can be used in continuous form if they denote an action. Some verbs are there which are non-continuous verbs when they denote a state or having. But when they denote an action, they can have a continuous form. Like, I am looking at the diagram. I am looking at the diagram. Here the action is taking place. It is not telling a state of something. It is telling about an action here. So the continuous form is used. But we say, you look sad. This is the state. She is tasting the soup. Here the action of tasting is taking place. So the continuous form is used. But we will say the soup tastes sour. Here the action is not taking place. We are just telling about the state of thing. You are having tea. Here having does not mean possess. Here it means taking tea. In these pairs of sentences, one is correct and the other is incorrect. Pick the correct one. He is having a house in Lucknow. He has a house in Lucknow. Which one is correct? Now, note down the answer. Now we move to the next pair. The soup is tasting sweet. The soup tastes sour. The soup is tasting sweet or the soup tastes sour. Which is correct? Now we move to the next pair. She is looking sad or she looks sad. Look, he has tea with his friends. Look, he is having tea with his friends. I hope you have noted down the correct answers. Now let us check the answers. The right sentence is, he has a house in Lucknow, because here has is used in the sense of possess. The soup is tasting sweet is wrong because it is the taste of soup which is denoted here. So we will not use the continuous form. We will use the simple present form here. She is looking sad is wrong because it is the state of thing that we are referring to. So she looks sad is correct. Look, he has tea with his friends is wrong because here Has is a doing verb. It is doing something. It is denoting an action. So we will use is having tea because the action is taking place at this moment only. Now the use of the simple past and the present perfect tense. We use the simple past tense with the past time reference. The use of present perfect tense with the past time reference is wrong. For example, I went to Japan in 2005 is correct. But I have gone to Japan in 2005 is wrong. But we can say I have gone to Japan without telling time. The simple past and the past perfect tense. When we talk about two actions which happened in the past, we tell the action which happened earlier in the past perfect tense and the other action in the simple past tense. The thief had run away before the police arrived. Which action took place earlier? The thief had run away. And the police arrived later on. When I reached the station, the train had already left. Which action took place earlier? The train had already left. And reaching the station took place later on. So in both the sentences, the actions which took place earlier have been written in the past perfect tense. Had run and had already left. Whereas the actions which took place later on have been written in simple past tense. The police arrived, I reached the station. The past continuous and the simple past tense. When we tell about two actions happening at the same time in the past, we use the past continuous tense for the longer action and the simple past tense for the shorter action. He fell asleep while he was driving. He was driving, this was a longer action, and he fell asleep is a shorter action. When I saw her, she was playing cricket. I seeing her is a shorter action and she was playing cricket is a longer action. So the longer action is written in the past continuous tense, whereas the shorter action is written in the simple past tense. We can talk about the future in different ways, like going to plus V1 can be used to denote future. When an action is at the point of happening, we see that the action is just about to happen. We see dark clouds, it is going to rain. We see dark clouds, it is going to rain, it is just at the point of happening. My mother is angry, she is going to scold my brother. When the action is decided upon before talking about it. It is already decided, then we are talking about it. I know him well, he is not going to accept defeat. I know him well and I have decided in my mind that he is not going to accept defeat, and then I am expressing it. I am going to settle in Lucknow. This is already decided. Be about to plus V1. Be means is MR was verb. Then about to plus V1. To talk about immediate future. This wall is about to fall. This is immediate future action which is denoted here. We think that it is about to fall. We are about to get our report cards now. In immediate future. The train is about to leave. In immediate future. Now students, point out mistakes in the following sentences. The first sentence is, I went to school before he came. Now think about the mistake. Yes, I went to school before he came. There are two actions expressed in this sentence. First is went to school and the other is he came. Which action took place earlier? Going to school. I went to school. Why is it written in simple past tense? This is wrong. It should have been written in the past perfect tense because here are two actions and one is taking place before the other in the past. So we will write the action which took place earlier in the past perfect tense. So the correct sentence will be, I had gone to school before he came. Second is, she will have been teaching since 2 hours. She will have been teaching since 2 hours. What is the mistake? Yes, I know you have got it. Yes. It is for 2 hours because since is used to tell the point of beginning. But here the duration is given. So for will be used. I have lived here for 2013. I have lived here for 2013. What is the mistake? Here the point of beginning is told. So instead of for we will use, yes, since. I have my lunch. What is the mistake? I have my lunch. Have is followed by the third form of verb. Here first have is used as the helping verb and the second have should have been the main verb in the third form. So it should be I have had my lunch. This sentence will be in the present perfect tense. Have followed by the third form of the verb. I have had my lunch. I fell down while I ran. I fell down while I ran. What is the mistake? Here again there are two actions which took place in the past. At the same time, one is a longer action and the other is a shorter one. I told you that the longer action should be written in the past continuous tense. Here the longer action is that of running, so it should have been written in the past continuous tense. So the correct sentence will be, I fell down while I was running. He has seen the Taj in 2009. What is the mistake? We cannot use present perfect tense with a past time reference. 2009 is the past time reference. So we should use the simple past tense. He saw the Taj in 2009 is the correct sentence. I hope you got all the sentences correct. Now students, today we have read the structure of different types of sentences in perfect continuous form of the present, the past and the future tense. Their uses, the uses of non-continuous verbs, the simple past and the present perfect tense, the past perfect and the simple past tense, the past continuous and the simple past tense, and also going to and about to tell a future action. Thank you very much.